What's up, folks? In today's video, we're going to be talking about Zhiyun's newest released products. That's the G200 200 watt COB light right behind me. And then we have the beloved Crane for the gimbal that everybody has been asking for. So let's start with the G200. This thing is the smallest 200 watt light currently on the market. Side by side with their previous Molis X100 light, you can see the difference in size. However, it's not by much. Now the G200 is actually pulling more than 200 watts, about 225 watts to be exact, at 100% power. We obviously have a really high quality COB light here producing 95 CRI, which is color rendering index. So these numbers are becoming rather standard with most COBs, but where this light really shines is its portability to power ratio. Again, no other manufacturer is making something this portable and this powerful. Now, when taking a look at the construction of this light, it does have a plastic construction and a huge heat sink. So there's actually two separate pieces to the light. You have a light body and then you have the power brick adapter, which just dangles off of the light stand. This is how they were able to actually make this light so compact, is basically splitting off the power brick from the light body. However, other light companies have done this too, and they haven't been able to shrink it down to this size, especially being at 200 watts. And I've actually used this light along with the X100 and G60, and it produced beautiful shots. This is a bicolored light, which is now becoming the standard for most lighting manufacturers. So to control this light, we have two different options. You can either use the power brick adapter knobs, which controls both the dim and the CCT or color temperature range. Or you can use Zhiyun's app, which controls this light wirelessly. And this is actually what I recommend the most because it gives you that wireless connection, obviously, and you can actually import and control more of Zhiyun's lights in groups and in scenes. So it makes it a lot easier to control multiple Zhiyun lights. There's also a built-in microphone on this light. So when you select music mode, it will actually react to the beats of the music. So for those of you who are DJs, you can use this light on your DJ sets as well as a strobe. So that's kind of cool too. To give you a little demo of how bright this light is, I can just click this dim dial and you can see that it will start going to different presets. So this is at about 20% power. We got 40%, 60%, 80%, and 100%. The fan slowly starts to kick in, but it is very quiet. You can't even hear it, and the light's only about less than 2 feet away from me. There's both a fan in the light body itself and the power brick adapter too. And unlike the Molis X100 and the G60 lights from Zhiyun, this one has full Bowens mount compatibility. You don't need to use any extra adapters to use traditional light modifiers like this reflector or any softbox or any other light modifier there is on the market. Now moving on to the Zhiyun Crane 4. This gimbal is awesome, not only because of its size, but because of its weight compatibility. So you can actually go up to 6 kilograms of weight, or about 13 pounds payload capacity on this gimbal. So that's pretty phenomenal for a gimbal of this size. Along with that weight compatibility, they went back to the Weebill 3 and 3S design. They brought it over to the Crane 4 with that integrated wrist rest design and that sling arm handle, which also doubles up as a dual-handed grip, so it just swivels out. It also features this nice pistol grip design. So we have a front trigger dial here. We have a joystick on the side along with shutter control, which is controlled via Bluetooth. So no need to physically connect your camera to the gimbal, which is great. And they also integrated a nice vertical mounting system. So you can easily just slide out your camera, flip it to portrait mode, and slide it back in. It's a very quick design. And I actually made a tutorial on that. You can click on the card right here to see how to do that for larger cameras and for smaller cameras. They also integrated a fill light on here similar to the Weebill 3 and Weebill 3S. However, it is much brighter. So you can also put on these little rubberized diffusers, which does a great job. Now, one complaint about this fill light is that it can sometimes get in the way if you're trying to get super low angle shots. So you get that restriction right there. You see that? The way to fix this is to either hand position the camera slightly lower and then just adjust your shooting position overall, or what you can also do is flip to inverted mode on the gimbal. So that's relatively easy to do. You just flip the gimbal on its side just like that, and then we can turn the gimbal back on. Remember inverted mode? I've done so many tutorials on this in previous gimbals, and just hold it in inverted mode and boom, there you go. You have low angle shots. You can adjust it with the joystick here and hold it in any way that you want. And you can even mount this to a car just like this. You can remove the tripod, any other accessory, and it will work just like a standard gimbal. So yes, inverted mode does work on the Crane 4. The Crane 4 also integrates a LCD touchscreen. This allows you access to control the motor torque settings and the smoothness settings. And by the way, I'm gonna release a tutorial video on how my settings are set so you can get the smoothest possible shots with this gimbal. You can also see that you can control the panoramic options, you can customize the dials here, and you can also control motion lapses and time lapses too. Now, another new feature to the Crane 4 is that they actually finally put a silicone protective sleeve here. So this is actually the first that I've seen on a gimbal. I would always scratch up this arm whenever I fold it up and put it in my bag. So they put this nice silicone protective sleeve, so that's not gonna be a problem. If you don't like it, you can always just remove it just like that. Really simple, but I'm glad that Zhiyun did this finally. They're the first brand to do this, I think, so that's great. They've also incorporated these little light rings around each axis, symbolizing whether or not your gimbal is properly balanced. So if you're not properly balanced, these light rings will turn red, and eventually, if your gimbal is under too much stress, it will just go into sleep mode. So you'll have to properly balance this gimbal. If you'd like to see a tutorial on the Crane 4 and how to properly balance, let me know in the comment section, and of course, give this video a like too. The Crane 4 can also support dual servos, so you can control both zoom and follow focus, and I'll make a tutorial on how to set that up too. So overall, this is the gimbal that most people have been wanting, especially with that 13-pound payload capacity in such a small package. You can kind of see the trends happening here with the G200, their X100, and the Crane 4. They're shrinking everything down, but making everything more powerful. So I love that a lot. If you're interested in either of these products, check out the link down below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in another one. Peace.